you can have a chill state of mind, not necessarily meaning it to be an excuse to be lazy, but that you just need time to get refocused so you can think clearly.
Tell me who Justin is in this season of life.
Justin in this season of life, he's continuing to grow, continuing to adapt and change to life situations. Life is going to happen. I've learned to utilize these valleys or trials to craft myself and mold myself into a greater version of me that I'm supposed to be, and not just settling, which I truly believe a lot of people kind of fall into that pit. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm primarily father to my daughter, an example for God, a pillar for my family, immediate family, and what I consider family is really anybody close knit to me that I have some kind of influence on. And so just continuing to be that positive influence and be that example moving forward.
What drew you initially to the Chinchilla?
So the Chinchilla didn't really jump out at me. Honestly, my initial focus was the gift goat. I didn't have enough funds to really dive headfirst into NFTs. I was just kind of like learning as Gary was kind of onboarding people. And so I was like, okay, well, what's the next one in line? And it was the specs sitting there. And going through literally like dissecting each character that was still remaining on the floor. I get to the Chinchilla and I'm literally sitting there, and it was the diamond background. And I loved the analogy of a diamond, right? It's like you start as a piece of coal, and through pressure, through grinding, through heat, through all this, you kind of mold yourself into a diamond. And so I was like, okay, I like the diamond trait. I'm going to go with that. And then obviously, as we've gotten to know each other, you've kind of seen my persona of just being super chill, right? Like, honestly, I've been called kind of cool hand Luke, at least for a couple decades. Like, I do my best to not get emotionally charged. I kind of see it as a state of mind, just kind of resonating with the chill attribute. And I was like, okay, the cool, that's talking to me. And then obviously the autographs in the fur was a big one. The nose was a heart. And funny enough, his eyes are like Asian because they're like slanted. So I'm Asian, half Asian. And so I was like, okay, this is my guy.
Do you feel like you were naturally a more calm and chill person, or was that something you learned over time?
Oh, no, it's definitely something I've learned. When I was a kid, I was super emotional. Like, I remember to this day, I was such a crybaby when I was a baby. Or not a baby, but when I was a kid. Even in my, like, later teens, like, something bothered me, I'd cry. If I didn't agree with something, I'd just, like, get so mad. Like, I used to be a professional bowler. And when I, like, did not do well, my God, my temper was ridiculous. Like, I kind of look back now and I'm like, oh my God, like, who was I? Yeah, I think military definitely played a big role with kind of, I don't know if it's caging the emotions or just understanding, that really didn't benefit me in any way, except to like kind of, again, temporarily get that spurred out, and then what, right? It's like, okay, now what are we going to do?
It's so interesting to hear, like, you talk about how you were as a child and as a teen, and like, see, I only know you now on like this cool, collective, like really chill guy who's like, I cannot even imagine that other side of you. It's so interesting how people change over their life and the different phases they go through, like, and what changes them. Like, it's fascinating to me to hear people's stories and what changed them.
I've kind of learned too about having perspective of people in general, like kind of reflecting back on my life, and people who have met me 20 years ago, they see me today and they're like, wow, who are you? Like, you've changed, you've become, somebody that's completely different. And I kind of look that way with everybody, whether it be they're in a not so healthy place or they're in a great place. Right? Again, being that example of just somebody who's there to maybe hear them out and offer any insight if they ask for it. I've learned that too. Like, don't offer insight unless they ask for it. And especially as a male, it's our DNA. I've learned this about guys. Like, we are fix-it people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you're coming to me with a problem, my default is like, okay, this is how you fix it. And what I've learned is not everybody wants that. So,
I feel like oftentimes being chill is mistaken as being lazy. How would you define being chill, or how would you like people to actually see it?
Like you said, it is mistakenly known as being lazy. I think just being in a solid state of mind, whether it is through faith. I know a lot of people, myself included, have found a solid grounding with a faith that I believe, that there's a greater power, God, that really overall created me for a purpose on this earth. Understanding yourself well enough and understanding the situation that you can have a chill state of mind, not necessarily meaning it to be an excuse to be lazy, but that you just need time to get refocused so you can think clearly.
Like for me, chill has definitely become more of a feeling centered. What your values are and what you are in your core, and then you can go out from there. But you always know where to come back to, versus some people are just like so all over the place and so frazzled, and then and I think they oftentimes misunderstand like the chill is lazy because they're so busy all the time. They need that in their life that chill for them feels almost like painful. But it actually gives you the groundedness of like, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I can go from there. It makes it easier to make decisions in that moment.
I think that's a crucial time to like start the day too, is in a chill state of mind. Like a lot of people, they get up and they like shoot out of bed and then they're go, 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 go. And I've actually implemented having that chill like moment, even if it's like 10 minutes. Like if you can't make 10 minutes for yourself, you got to figure something out. But I've taken 10 minutes. It's called like priming. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's something I learned through a Tony Robbins conference that I attended. And it's funny because I never really took time to just spend like just be calm and like not have anything going on. And it's amazing. Like, again, just putting yourself in that right state, so you understand, how to better think about life.
How do you recharge, or like, do you have certain habits you do when your calmness is tested? As a parent, there are certain things, like what in your job, like how do you come back to staying calm?
For me, it's more perspective. Like, again, if I'm in a state that I know isn't the best state to be in, whether it be the situation. And so I think what I've learned for me that works best is to get around people, especially the right people, right? You want to get around positive people, not just people who, misery likes company, right? So you don't want to be around miserable people who are like, I know how you feel. I feel that way too. That doesn't do any good. So just getting yourself out of that box that you've put yourself in to be in that unhealthy state. And it's the hardest thing for people to do because, change is not easy for humans. So, like, you can get comfortable in being miserable, and you never want to leave that. And I think just having the wherewithal and like you said, just learning yourself that what works for you. And for me, it's definitely getting around people.
I like what you said, that the knowing yourself really helps you make better decisions in that moment, and also that everybody has to know themselves. I think there's so many people who listen to certain advice and then they wonder why it's not working for them. It's just, you might just not be that personality type. Not working out doesn't work for everybody, or going for a walk, or waking up early. Like, you have to kind of find who you are, what works for you, and what makes you calm when you're in a stressed out situation. If it's having a gratitude journal or being around other people, And I feel like too many people just rely on what somebody else told them to do and then wonder why it's not working versus really digging deep and like what actually, last time I felt calm, what happened before, just really diving deeper into that and getting to know yourself.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because like it's great to get input from other people if they're living the life that you want to live, right? Because if you continue to go on your own thought process and your own mindset got you to where you're at, right? So in order to get out of that or maybe learn different practices, hence the reason I went to the Tony Robbins thing, because I just needed to break out of maybe my own routines, my own thought process of trying to figure things out, and just getting maybe one little nugget or one little new habit in a daily routine that somebody else offers. But again, it's learning from people who are living the life you want.
You mentioned Tony Robbins, and this is not the first time that he comes up in these conversations. I feel like he's also very similar to like a lot of things that Gary says. Are there books or podcasts or people you personally listen to or would recommend to people to get a broader perspective in life or to get to a calmer state that have helped you?
For me, I was fortunate coming out of the military to connect up with some successful people here locally. And so I was really seeking after mentorship. Pretty fascinating to see the doors that open just by, again, those 2 degrees of separation, right? Because it's actually because of them I was introduced to Gary. And again, it's all mindset for the most part. Like, if I think there is a book called Mindset. Talks about fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. That's a huge book that, again, just the beauty part about books and what I'm finding and why successful people are readers is because you can't argue with the book. Like, the book is just going to tell you how it is, and if you want to take that as your belief, then take it as your belief and run with it. And I think that's the beauty part about your network of people that have read these books and have applied it, is most of the time they have fruit in their life that you're just like, oh, how did you do that? And they're like, oh, I read this book and I applied what they taught in this book.
I think the biggest part in that sentence was people who apply it. There's so many people who read so many books and listen to all the podcasts and just, they can recite everything Gary said and never do anything with it. And I think that's when people really get stuck. They think they have the knowledge, but if you're not using it, it's worth nothing. So I think the applied part you said is so crucial and really learning and growing and moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's the most misquoted quote about knowledge, because everybody's like, knowledge is power. And what I've learned is it's applied knowledge that's power. Like, you can sit there and know everything, and like you just said, like, if you are not putting it into action, you got no power. You literally are constipated in your mind with all this information, and you're not putting it into the world to actually have power in doing it.
What do you feel is Chinchilla's sidekick?
Chinchilla's sidekick, first person that comes to mind is Radical Rabbit. Like, just because he's kind of not chill. He's just like...
I mean, the Radical Rabbit is almost like the yin and yang of it, like you need like multiple sides of yourself. Like, it's good to be calm and collected. It reminds me a little bit of the Eager Eagle, Impatient Pig book, where you need a little bit of both, otherwise it's just not working. And the same is like with the chill. Like, it's good to be calm and collected, but not so calm but it becomes laziness. And you're just like being stagnant.
Yes, hardworking wombat, I think is definitely his sidekick. Because like you said, it's like you can get into that chill state of mind, and that could definitely stop you from actually applying work. And I think, hardworking wombat is definitely his partner, because you got to have that person who's just like, hey, we're supposed to be doing something. You're like, but I'm relaxed right now. I'm good. Like, I'm thinking. It's like, yeah, but we got to put in action. So yeah, for sure, hardworking wombat was the one.
And kind of ties into what we just talked about with when you get all the knowledge and then don't do anything with it. Like, the hardworking wombat is like pushing you to like, now you got all the knowledge, now you're calm, and now we got to move forward and do something with it. Which I like, because it's like you said earlier that oftentimes like emotion, it's something that's good when emotion drive you, but if it's too much, and it can lead you into a wrong way. And like getting back to that calm state to really understand what's going on and then use that to like what am I going to do with it. Like, I feel like that's the biggest part that I had to learn like in the last couple of years of like using my emotions. So like trying to understand like why am I upset about something, or why am I emotional about something? What does it mean to me? And then use that versus just sitting with it for weeks and like not doing anything about it. It's the same with the knowledge with the books. Like for me, emotions are just guideposts. They tell you something about yourself. You're not living in your values, or somebody's crossing your boundaries, or you're not living up to your potential. Whatever it is, that emotion is supposed to tell you something. And if you're not looking into it, what it's supposed to tell you, then you're missing out on actually moving forward.
The emotions are just kind of like these little the flags along the way. It's been like, hey, wait, okay, no, don't go that way.
If Chinchilla would give a TED talk, what would be the topic?
How to have a chill state of mind, I think, like, but actually still be productive. Once you figure out yourself, it kind of goes back to what value you have or you see in yourself, then you can give to others. But if you don't feel valuable in yourself, or you haven't figured yourself out and you're confused, no reason why you're not giving out to others. And so I think that's where if you're in that chill state of mind and you have the wherewithal that you have to continue to learn on a daily basis, that gives you the opportunity to be able to not only add value to yourself, but then be able to instill it into others.
Is there some last words you want to send people off with to maybe become more chill in their life, to become more centered in who they are?
I think Gary says it best. I think it's all perspective. I think if you're getting way too emotional about a temporary situation, you're just way out of whack in your perspective. If you truly took the time to have a chill state of mind and understanding like your situation is not that bad. When I first start the day with the morning routines, is like you have that time to really process of like things that you've accomplished so far in your life. And it's like, wow, okay, well, if I did that, I can do so much more. If you're not in a chill state of mind, you just have more to figure out about yourself. And I think that's a great starting point to kind of start down that journey of personal development, of assessing maybe who you're associating with. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. The more books I read about successful people and like people who have done great things that we get to benefit from in this awesome world, is like they only go back to two things: is people are successful because of people they hang out with and the books they read. That's it. Who are you hanging out with, and what are you putting into your brain?
Yep. I feel like especially the book part people underestimate. It's not really about that you're a big reader or anything. It's you get to have a conversation with somebody you usually don't have access to. Like if it's a Tony Robbins, or if it's a Gary or Mel Robbins, there's so many people who have like really wonderful things to say, and they have been through so much of their own development to now share that with others. And it's just like having a conversation with them and learning from their experiences. And I think that's what reading those books means for me. I take out what I needed to hear in that moment. And I think if I would read the same book 5 years later, I would take something completely different out of it, because I'm now in a different state. And I feel like I changed drastically when I started reading those kind of books. Like it
100%.
It really opens your mind that you only know so much. And there's so much more out there, so much, like you said, perspective of learning from others. And you realize too that on the one hand, they have been through so many different things, but they're also so similar. At the end of the day, we humans are so similar. Our stories might be a little bit different and where it happened and when it happened, but we all have the same emotions at the end of the day. We all have the same needs at the end of the day. And you really realize that if so-and-so could do it, then I can do too. It really makes you realize like a Tony Robbins or Gary is nothing special. I mean it in the most positive way. It's just a person. So if they could do it, you can too if you want to. That I think reading books really helped me open my mind to that.
Success principles are universal. Doesn't matter if you did it. I mean, I read books that were published in 1970 something, and I'm reading it and I'm like, these are the same principles that help people be successful today, regardless of the time, regardless of technology, regardless of people's perspective on culture, of society or whatever. The success principles remain the same.
That fascinates me so much about like Stoicism and the Stoics. That's thousands of years ago, and the stories are the same. And that's the perspective part of like it was a very different era and they had very different things, but they still struggled with the same things as we do today. Like it's just, it's part of life. You're never not going to have that. There's never going to be a generation who's not going to struggle with their emotions or having kids or all these things. It's just part of life. And once you understand that, it becomes easier and doesn't feel like it's so heavy or it's just happening to me. It's like, it's just life. And the moment you understand that and that you actually get to have a choice of how you respond to it, like life becomes so much easier. It's like this huge weight just off your shoulders. It's like you can breathe and it's like, I am in charge and I get to make all the choices no matter what happens to me, because like you said, life will always happen to you. Nothing you can do about it. But you can choose like how you respond to it and what kind of person you're going to be after something happened to you. And I think that once you realize that, it gives you so much power back over your life.
Yeah, if you look back on certain, like, same as achievement, right? You achieve something, you can definitely achieve something else. Same thing with valleys and trials. Is like, if you honestly look back, I mean, obviously anybody watching this has lived some kind of portion of your life that you can look back and been like, man, when I was going through that, it sucked. Like, it was the worst valley I've ever experienced, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. 5 years later, you look back and you're like, oh, I became this kind of person, or I got to see this kind of mindset or this kind of perspective because I went through that. And it's definitely very beneficial to reflect back, because then, like you said, you have a new perspective on how you're going to move and address maybe trials moving forward, understanding it's going to happen. It's just how you're going to respond better to it moving forward.
I think the looking back part is super important, because when you're in it, it seems so all around you and like you don't really know why this is happening to you and like what's the benefit of it. Like even if you're a positive person, like when you're in a really just shitty situation, it just feels heavy. And then, like you said, a couple of years after or a month after, like when you're a little bit removed from it and you see like where that actually lead to, you always see that there was a reason for it. When you take that step back of like looking where you came from and like that's what things just happen for a reason, and if they wouldn't have happened, as bad as they were, you wouldn't be in that situation. Like you can really start appreciating even the bad things, because I'm super big on like the universe just like kind of guiding you where you're supposed to. Like some people do that with God. For me, it's the universe. It's like these things just happen to you because they're supposed to. Like something stops happening for you, or you're not making it to a certain point because you weren't supposed to be there. You were supposed to be somewhere else. And like it's hard to see those in the moment, but like now looking back at so many things, I'm like, it's exactly why it had to happen. It's like, and then you can appreciate them. Then you can even appreciate the hard times for that, because it led you to something, most of the time, something really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's life happening for you, regardless if it's a valley or if it's a mountaintop. I think Gary says it best. Like, yeah, okay, say you hit the lottery that you wished you would have won. Then you got hit by a bus. Like, that doesn't do anybody any good, right? So it's like, yeah, just truly having that mind hack that everything happening for the good, you know, whether it be the verse that you believe in, whether it be God. I know, again, having the faith that I have is the word says everything happens for good. Everything, meaning everything. Like, so yeah, that's just, again, the perspective that I've learned through my short span on this earth and continuing to learn myself and how to navigate it as best I can.